Hello everyone, I'm back with another AxiSim update. For this update, it's version 1.04 alpha, and it is the unstructured update. Okay, some disclaimers before I get into the update. AxiSim is still under development, so expect some bugs, crashes, and a lot of changes going forward. And the simulation has not been verified or validated yet, so just take the result as it being preliminary. So what changed in version 1.04 alpha? Well, three major things have changed in AxiSim. The first one being a addition to the geometry section. Using the geometry section, you can now draw your geometry very freely, so you can solve for more complicated problems. Secondly, I've overhauled the mesh generation again, so now it supports unstructured mesh. Before it was only structured mesh, so the problem that you could solve for was quite limited. And lastly, I've added a concentration solver, which lets you solve for dissolved gases, concentration of dissolved gases inside of your fluid. And if you're interested to see all of the smaller changes and all the smaller details, then please check out the update log and the software manual. Now, I want to go into a bit of detail for each of these major updates. As for the first major update is the new geometry section. So you can see in this new geometry tab, you're able to make sketches of your geometry. So you can now freely sketch the geometry. You have a lot more freedom as to what kind of problems that you can solve for. And it supports shapes like circles, arcs, rectangles, and you can just mess around with it and create your own geometry. The second major change is the overhaul to the mesh generation. So you can see here in my mesh inspector that we have an unstructured grid now made out of triangles. So the support for unstructured mesh has been added, so you can select whether you want to solve using unstructured or structured mesh. In addition to that, some tools like region of influence has also been added. You can see this kind of blue region where the mesh is more fine compared to the region outside of the blue region, which is more coarse mesh. I've also added support for sizing edges. In Ansys Fluent, you can size edges by element or by length, and I've also implemented that into my AxiSim. So please note that the unstructured mesh is created using a third-party software called Gmesh. So that lets me have a lot of control over what kind of mesh I want, and that's how I'm creating this unstructured mesh. The final thing that I've added in this update is the concentration solver. Using the concentration solver, you can now measure the concentration of dissolved gases in your fluid. And the consumption of these dissolved gases is taken care of by the boundary conditions. So for the boundary conditions, I've added support for equations like my Michaelis-Menten, the Hill equation, and also inhibition as the new boundary condition for the concentration solver. I've also added support for adding multiple layers of resistance to your boundary conditions. This is specific for the concentration and the energy solver, where you can add multiple layers of resistance between your fluid and your boundary. So that's all for the major changes for this update. Now I just want to talk about some of the future updates that I will hopefully implement. The first thing is the multi-grid method. I think that would be nice to be able to accelerate your solver significantly. But the multi-grid method is pretty difficult to implement in a CFD solver, so I want to take my time and make sure that it's implemented correctly. Next, I want to add more usability for the console, as right now the console is really only useful for printing out residuals for the solver and nothing much else. It can run some commands, but nothing really useful. So I want to implement something like what MATLAB has, where you're able to run like any command and print out text logs and also just do math on it. It's a very powerful tool that I think AxiSim would benefit a lot from. And lastly, I want to continue just working on quality of life changes for everything, really. Because right now, AxiSim is really only user-friendly for me, and it's not really user-friendly for anyone else. So a quality of life change would definitely is definitely a priority for the next update. Alright, and that's all for this update. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next update.